I love this intro music. It's very like, I don't know, it gives me like Law and Order Special Victims Unit with a little pizzazz. I don't know. Let me know if you all like the little theme music that we have going on. Listen, welcome back to episode number 6 of Are You Dateable? I'm Lamont White, the gay dating coach, your host tonight. Tonight, you do not like text your friends, share this video. Y'all want to talk about this topic tonight, okay? Hey, Robert, Tyson, Akeem. Hello. You made it. Yes, you did. So tonight we have a good, spicy topic for us tonight. So make sure you all share this video, invite your singles, your couples. So if they have dating questions, they can come on. Like they literally can come on live with me and ask questions. All right. If you look in the chat box, there is a link there. Okay. Look in the chat box. Markeith is going to place it there. And if you click on the link, you can come on live and ask me some questions. You can also tell me what you think about today's dating topic and whether you agree with it, whether you don't, and also what you think works well for you. Okay. You're like, Lamont, what are we talking about? So we are talking about monogamy and we're talking about open relationships. That's what we're talking about tonight. Not polyamory. That's a whole nother whole bag of something else. But we're talking about monogamy. We're also talking about open relationships. And you're like, Lamont, why are we talking about that? That is because I feel like, I've been doing dating coaching. I've been doing couples counseling as a therapist for a very long time. And I have found that most people are not honest with themselves and they're not honest with their partners about what works well for them. And it's not until you answer a couple of these questions I'm going to pose to you that you really know what really works for you, whether it's monogamy or if it's like some version of an open relationship. Okay. Hey, Onyx, good to see you. Hey, Clad, welcome back. I like seeing some of the regulars who join every Thursday just listening, right? I like that you all share your experiences. I like that you share questions so that we can have things to really be engaged on. So definitely share the video. Like when I say share this video, there is a share option that you can put on your social media, like your Facebook page or your Instagram page. Also like the video. You got to like the video. And if you're watching, don't be afraid to comment. Say hello. Say hello, Lamont. How you doing? Like, say happy Thursday. Don't you all have manners? You're watching. You don't even say hello. You just be looking like, I see y'all. I'm just soaking up this information, and that's all I'm doing. Thank you, Michael. Good to see you. Hello. So if you want to come on, there is a link for you to join, and you are welcome to come on and talk with me. I see Soulmate. Soulmate says, teach me something now tonight. Are you ready for this, though, is the question, Soulmate. And we got to make sure we find you a soulmate. Jay Bankhead, I see you also. Good to see you. Wow. I see you in the comment section as well. Good. So let's get this show started. And if you want to come on, click on the link. You can come on and ask questions and respond to the topic that I'm talking about tonight. But definitely, as we're going through this, share this video, like literally share the video, like and comment while we're going through this. Hello, Gabriel. Thanks for having some manners. All right. So, when you're dating someone, like getting to know someone in that dating phase where everything is all, fresh, it's fun, it's flirty, I have found a lot of couples um aren't honest, or people who are dating just aren't honest about like what really works for them as far as the type of relationship that they want. Whether it's a monogamous relationship, and when I say monogamous, I mean like it's only the two of you. Right. The only the two of you are having sex and not like someone else is stepping outside the relationship. Because I found that, one person might be monogamous, but the other one is doing any and everybody across town. And this one person thinks they're in a monogamous relationship, but they're actually in some type of a open or unwillingly open relationship. Right. Hey, Dwayne, I see you in the comment section. Others are a little bit more transparent and they say, hey, this is what I feel about sex and about a type of relationship that works well for them. And they say, hey, let's explore, let's do these types of things. I say whether you want to be in a monogamous relationship or some type of variation of a open relationship, have at it. There's no judgment, there's no shame. I think both types of relationships are relationships. I'm going to pause there because a lot of people may discredit people who are in monogamous relationships or people in open relationships and say, no, those aren't real relationships, because they feel like they've been taught these are the types of relationships that are real relationships or valid relationships or healthy relationships, however you define it. No, I feel like if you're in a monogamous relationship and it works well for you, great. If you're in an open relationship and it works well for you, great. Here are some things I think you need to ask yourself, like three different questions. Three questions if you feel like you want to be in a really open relationship or a monogamous relationship. If you're trying to figure out, hey, should I be in a monogamous relationship or should I be in some type of open relationship? Three questions. One is, what is your relationship with sex? Is sex something that you feel like is sacred, that is reserved for marriage, for your husband, for your long-term spouse? Is it something that you feel like it is sacred and it holds high value? If you're saying yes, you're leaning more towards a monogamous relationship. If sex for you is more casual, if it's something that is more of a recreational thing, or it's not as a high value or reserved for somebody that is super important, like your husband, your spouse, your long-term partner, then an open relationship might be a better fit for you. So one is, if sex is very high importance, high value, it's reserved for your husband and your spouse, monogamy looks like it's going to work for you. If not, then maybe some variation of an open relationship will work for you. I want to get you all's feedback there in the chat box. What do you think about what I just said? Do you agree? Do you disagree? Jay Bankhead says, I want to explore. I think exploration is always a good thing. I think especially if you are in your 20s, you have to figure out like what type of relationships work well for you. Like you have to question yourself, like, where did I learn that sex is reserved for my husband or my wife or my spouse only? Who taught you that? What examples did you see? Right? What do you subscribe to that? Does that work for you? Some people are like, hey, yeah, I'm married, but it does not mean I'm not attracted to other people. Some people are like, hey, you can look, but you can't touch. They can flirt with you, but don't touch. Like they have those types of agreements, right? So I do feel like if sex is something that is high value, sacred, you should be in a monogamous relationship. If not, then you might want to consider being in more of some type of variation of a open relationship. Number two, okay, number two really is if your partner, your husband, the person you're dating has sex with somebody else, how do you feel about yourself? How do you feel about yourself? If that makes you feel inadequate or wronged, you might want to stay in a monogamous relationship. If your partner, if you can't stand the sight of your partner touching another person romantically, sexually, if that repulses you, if that makes you feel inadequate, if that makes you feel wrong and shamed, like they say, get somebody else to do it. You should stay in a monogamous relationship. Also, if you yourself step outside the relationship and have sex with somebody else and you feel bad about yourself, if you feel shamed, if you feel like you have wronged your partner, you should stay in a monogamous relationship. Right? You should stay in a monogamous relationship. However, on the other side, if you feel like when you see or the thought of your partner, your husband having sex with somebody else, touching somebody else, if that excites you, if that brings you joy and happiness, if you're like a cheerleader, you're like, yeah, yeah, like like that excites you, that turns you on, that gets your blood, going, that gets you all warm and fuzzy, then you might want to consider being in some variation of a open relationship. You see the difference? You see the difference? It's about how do you feel about yourself, like your feelings, if someone steps outside the relationship or if you step outside the relationship. Because I feel like, and this goes across the board, one way monogamy or one way open relationships, those usually don't work. When you're like, Lamont, what are you talking about? I'm talking about when one person is being monogamous, but the other person is stepping outside the relationship. Those don't work. Those are more like transactional type of relationships. Dameon, I appreciate what are these called? The onset. Like you all know, you can buy or support the show by getting stickers. Thank you for the sticker, Damien. You are now on set and you are in the director's chair. Oh. Damien says, it makes me feel like, what is the point of even being together if you're going to have sex outside the relationship? So for you, Damien, yes, sex might be super. It sounds like, I'm assuming from your comment, that sex for you is something that is sacred and it has high value. Am I right? Am I right, Damien? Am I right? So you might be a better fit for a monogamous relationship and not trying like, oh, let's explore. You probably have figured out already, it's just one guy. That's all that's going to work for you. Somebody said, he said you just recently met someone who had a whole Twitter sex life while dating you. Right, because he was not honest. So for him, sex was probably something that was more casual, something that was more recreational, and something that had lower value. Like when I say, let me not be, y'all gonna cuss me out when I say lower value. I mean, like it's not reserved for someone super, super, super special. It's kind of like, it's very casual, like a handshake. Well, not like a handshake, but you know what I mean. Like it's not like just reserved for someone that is super, super special to them. So for you, Damien, monogamy sounds like it's perfect for you. Onyx says, I would feel betrayed, but but you've evolved enough to know it's nothing wrong with me because of the other person's weakness. What do you mean weakness? So some people aim for monogamy, and most people do, and they fail at it. Right? So I'm here, Onyx is saying that's a weakness. Might think of it a little differently. That person may or may not have been honest with themselves about what type of relationship really, really, really works for them. And they were trying to be in this box of, this is the type of relationship that I should be in. So I'm going to try to be in that relationship, that type of relationship, instead of saying, no, I can't be monogamous, and finding partners who are okay with that. I think him setting you up saying, hey, Onyx, we can be in a monogamous relationship, and that's really not, how he's built or how he's able to function, is telling you that it is not going to work. It's not going to work. Rick, welcome to YouTube. Rick says, I share not. Angry face. So monogamy works for you. And you probably don't want to try anything else because some people get jealous, some people get angry, they feel wrong, and they might end up being in jail. So no, don't do that. Somebody said, Lamont, what about soul ties? What about soul ties? Come on, let's talk about it. Click on the link, and I feel like if you want to talk about soul ties, we have to talk about that more in depth. So click on the link, and then we can really have a conversation. Because I want to know what your belief is about what soul ties are, your views about spirituality, your views about God, or the belief of a God or the lack thereof, spirituality. That's a very nuanced question. So it's very particular to your situation. So let's talk about it. Click on the link and you can come on. The one Onyx says, I would feel betrayed, but I've evolved enough to know that, oh yeah, this was the comment about feeling like it was a weakness. Yep, I did see that one. Okay. Wayne White says 100% monogamous over here. Alan says sex can be a drug too. Okay. I told you I had three situations that I want you to see if you can be in a monogamous or open relationship. One was, how do you view sex? Two is, how do you feel about yourself? If your partner has sex with somebody else? The third thing is monogamy going to support or make your relationship better? Is being in some type of variation of an open relationship going to improve your relationship? And if the question is no, monogamy is not going to do it, because you're going to lie, you're going to feel jealous, you're going to set yourselves both up for failure in arguments, then you don't belong in a monogamous relationship, right? Like if you both are like, oh, I'm taught to be in a monogamous relationship, but you both keep failing at it, like repeatedly failing at it, having arguments, having like moments where you don't speak to each other, then the two of you may really need to have what I say a come to Jesus conversation for real, and say, like, what are we doing here? Let's have some transparency in this relationship, right? Will it improve our relationship? And you're like, Lamont, how can an open relationship improve someone's relationship? Because isn't that just going to lead them to stepping outside the relationship and falling in love with somebody else? Some people go into open relationships because they learn new sexual, tricks or acrobatics from being in it. Others may like sharing the experience with their partner, so it brings them closer. Others do it because they don't want to have the shame or the guilt attached of stepping outside the relationship and not being honest with their partners. So by having some communication about it and transparency, that shame, that guilt is gone because the two of you are actually talking about it. Does that make sense? I want to hear you all's views on it. I want to know. Ooh. Damien says, I think it creates balance in a life that sometimes feels unbalanced. What do you mean? What do you mean? Click on the link. Come on, let's talk about it. Jermaine Green says, because you fail or struggle with monogamy doesn't mean polyamory will work either. We are not talking about polyamory. Polyamory is something totally different. Polyamory is when you are in relationship. When I say relationship, like you're in relationship with multiple people. It's more than sex. Polyamory has to do like there are 3 of you or 4 of you who are in a relationship, like a serious long-term committed relationship. That's another topic. That's another day. That's another level of communication that is involved. I'm talking about either monogamy or some variation of a open relationship. And when I talk about like open relationships, that means like sex, hooking up, spending time with, not dating. That's what I'm talking about. So I wanted to make sure I was clear on that. Okay. Y'all are chatty Cathy in the chat box today. Oh. Bearded Ham says, I feel like I could be in an open relationship once I. Oh, okay. Well, we got somebody coming on. Let's see who's coming on. Let's see. We can bring our guest on. Oh, it's Damien. Damien, hello. Is your camera working? I see your name there, but I don't see you. And you all might notice I'm rocking a ball head tonight. I do have hair and it will grow back. I'm just rocking a new summer look. We'll see how long it lasts. Oh, Damien, you can try to click on again and we'll see if we can bring you on. Alan says, get somebody else to do it. What do you mean, Alan? Like what do you want them to do? Oh. Jermaine, great point. Jermaine says cheating, lies, and lack of communication will show up on any relationship dynamics. Oh, of course. The thing about figuring out what type of relationship that works well for you, communication is key. Even if you decide to be in a monogamous relationship, you should still, in my opinion, y'all might not agree with it, you should still be able to communicate about your attraction to other people or your desires with other people or your longing to have sex with other people, with your husband, your wife, your spouse, your partner. If you can't talk about that stuff, you're not being transparent. I feel like communication, whether you're in a monogamous or open relationship, is still key. In an open relationship, you have to over communicate. Like you have to do frequent check-ins with your partner about what works well for you now, what is changing, what is evolving, because some people might be in an open relationship and they say, you know what, for the next 12 months, I just want us just to be together. Okay. Just so they may close the relationship for 12 months to work on some things, spend time together, and then they can open it back up. So just because you say you're in an open relationship, does that mean like that is something that you do for the rest of your life or the entirety of your relationship? It can close, it can open. It's about communication. And I think that was Jermaine who hit the nail right on the head. Good point. Good point. Damien, are we bringing you back? Did you try to join? What happened? Robert Clay says honesty is key in a relationship. Mm-hmm. Yeah. When I say and I think honesty, some people who are in monogamous relationships, they want their partner to be dishonest. They want them to be in denial. They want them to be delusional about their attraction or desires for somebody else. I think you should be able to have the open space to talk about those things in a healthy relationship. Damien or whoever's coming in, we will let them in. Hello, hello, hello. How's
Hey,
it going?
Lamont.
Jay, how you doing, Jay?
Everything is good. How are you?
I'm doing good, good. Welcome to the show. You've been on Instagram before.
I have.
Yes. Remind me what city you're in again.
I am in Charlotte now. I'm back in
Oh,
Charlotte, I'll say that.
okay. So where were you before?
I was in Little Rock for a year.
You're Little Rock, and now you're in Charlotte. Okay, okay. So
Back in
tell
Charlotte,
folks,
yeah.
yeah, Charlotte's nice. Do us a favor. Tell us a little bit about yourself, and let me know if you have a question or if you want to comment on the topic that we're talking about today.
Okay. So I'm Jay, 39. I'll be 40 in May, May 9th to be exact. Originally from Arkansas, but I've been in Charlotte now for 14 years. 13 if you subtract the year that I spent in Arkansas from 2021 to 2022. So Charlotte is pretty much home for me now. I'm not stuck in Charlotte, but it is home for me at this time. Professionally, I am a project manager in finance. Uh, I think that's it for the basics. And I really just wanted to comment on the topic
Mhm.
um, that you have going. I think a big issue is that for men, especially gay men, I don't think that we a lot of us haven't reached that level of comfort to be able to have those type of conversations
Mhm.
out the gate. Like we want to come into a situation that's new and be as
Mhm.
perfect and present as perfect as possible. And we don't
Mhm.
want to share sometimes our deep desires or some of the things that we think about or we may, play on the fence with possibly doing because it may seem strange or you don't want the person that you are potentially dating to, be unattracted to you because you're on some weird shit in a
Mhm.
sense. And so we kind of hold back on that. And so I've really gotten to a place in life as I approach 40. I'm excited about that. Where
Mhm.
I'm not too quick to say what I won't do. I know what I'm looking
Mhm.
for and what I'm as far as the relationship goes, the things that I expect and how I move in relationships.
Mhm.
But I'm
Mhm.
also not opposed to being open to the things that my partner or my potential partner is open to. There
Mhm.
was a time when I would say I would never even entertain the conversation about an open
Mhm.
relationship.
Mhm.
That's just not me. It's not what I want. I'm
Mhm.
a monogamous
Mhm.
seeking person. That's what I provide. That's who I am, and that's what I want. But I'm now more prone to entertain the actual conversation and just see where my
Mhm.
partner's head is about it, and if that's something that maybe he wants to explore later down the line. Now, fresh out the gate, 5 years in, like wait a
Mhm.
minute, you can't be bored that quick. What am I not doing?
Right,
Did I
right.
miss the mark? So
Mhm.
there are a lot of things that I will, I'll entertain, emotionally, physically, sexually. There are some things that I'm more willing to at least entertain. Whereas there was a time when I wouldn't even entertain the topic of discussion. I wanted no
Mhm.
parts because it just seems so
Mhm.
so strange and so out of pocket for me as a person.
Yeah, no, Jay, thank you for sharing that because I think some people are afraid to share that perspective. And what I heard you say is that, like, if you're dating someone or in a relationship with someone 5 years down the line and they're like, hey, let's open this up, you're like, wait a minute, where did this come from? The truth of the matter is the person was thinking that from the gate anyway. They had those
Absolutely.
thoughts, those views. They probably may have been doing something like acting on those within those 5 years and didn't tell you that. The challenge is when you're dating someone, how do you have that conversation? So I would love to hear, like, when you meet a guy after like a couple of dates, like, how do you bring that conversation up? Like, does he talk about it? Do you mention it, or you give it a scenario, or do you say, hey, this is what I'm open to? How do you set the stage to do that?
So I really think it depends on the flow and the nature of our relationship up to that point and how
Mhm.
we've been able to communicate. And I kind of, try to pick up on what makes him comfortable and what makes him uncomfortable, and what topics he readily entertains and what
Mhm.
topics he'll entertain if I bring up the subject. Like, I'm very attentive like that. And so if I
Mhm.
know that it's something that a conversation that he'll have, but it's not something he's going to bring up, I'm open to just like I'm a straight shooter. I'm very direct.
Mhm.
Like,
Mhm.
so hey,
Mhm.
what do you think? What are your thoughts on open relationships? Because
Yeah.
I've likely already shared my thoughts on it. And so
Mhm.
he pretty much kind of know where I stand. And so I'll just
Mhm.
ask the question, what are your thoughts on open relationships? What are your
Mhm.
thoughts on cheating? Have you ever cheated? And if you have, let's talk about it. What got you to that point? Because I'm open
Mhm.
to sharing, my experiences with that and how I moved and, what got me to that point. And so I'll ask questions and I'll just be very direct and ask you, what are your
Mhm.
thoughts on an open relationship? What are your thoughts on
Yeah.
monogamy? Those are some things that I honestly think that those are good date questions that we
Mhm.
don't entertain enough because we get so caught up in the physical of what a
Yeah.
person looks like. And oh, he just my type. He tall, he dark skinned, he bald head, got the beard, he got everything, got the good job. But we don't really want to entertain what's below the surface and how he
Mhm.
really thinks and how he really feels and moves in certain situations. I tend to
Mhm.
attack those things in the first couple of dates. I want to have those tough conversations. Well,
Yeah.
tough to some people, out the gate.
But well, Jay, so you're very direct, right?
I
And
could be.
directness works for some people.
Hmm.
Other times it does not work for people. And what may happen, and this is why it's like 5 years, you find out that this person really was thinking about this since day one, is they feel put on the spot. They may feel like they're judged if they say they want an open relationship or some variation of it. So they'll lie and say, oh no, I just want to be in a monogamous relationship. Or they may want to be able to do what they want to do, but they don't want you to do anything. It's not equitable, right? So
This
typically
is
what
true.
I suggest, yeah, what I suggest is the back door. The gays like going through the back door. So I say take the back door approach, right? I would
I'm
say
afraid
like
of the bus, guy.
listen, I would be like, hey, what do you think about Will and Jada? You heard about their type of relationship? What do you think of that? Fix your face. Just don't clutch your pearls. Don't seem judgmental. Don't be like, oh, that whatever his response is, ask about like two or three questions. Like, oh, tell me more about that. Why do you think that? Where'd you learn that from? You listen and you will find out more about what the person believes about monogamy or open relationships instead of being so direct so that you can get more of an honest relationship. But you can also listen how he talks about when he hears people cheating on their husbands or their wives. Like, is it judgmental? If he's like, oh, yeah, whatever, you just listen. And that will tell you a little bit more if you don't want to take the direct approach.
That's really good advice. Really
Yeah,
good
I want you to
advice.
try it.
So I
Try it. Like
appreciate that.
with anything, I think most guys, women, it doesn't matter what gender you are. It's challenging to be honest, particularly
It
where it
is.
talks about sex. And particularly when you're just now meeting someone. So it's setting the stage and just listening how they talk about sex and relationships.
I agree. Definitely.
Yeah, yeah. Well, listen, thanks for coming on. I appreciate,
Always.
you posing a question. Tell people your IG name in case they're in Charlotte and they want to hit you up, Jay.
IG is JJAY dot Gerard. That's JERAUDE. And that's it. I think I took the 1914 from behind it. Yeah, it's just J. Dot Gerard.
Okay. Thanks for coming on, Jay. And we're gonna bring Siobhan up, who's in waiting in the queue. Have a good night.
Awesome. Thanks, Lamont. You as well.
All right. Hmm. Okay, we got people coming on tonight. Listen, I told you, if you all show up on Thursdays, I will keep showing up on Thursdays. You all keep liking the video, commenting, and sharing, then I'll keep showing up on Thursdays. If you don't, I will plan something else on Thursdays. Okay. Oh, but let me know how you all are feeling about the topic tonight. If there are dating questions that you do have, you can put them in the chat. Siobhan, welcome. You got to move to the center of the screen for us.
This is better. I don't know. Hold on.
Oh, almost. We're getting there. We're getting there. Right there, right there. And you
Right
got your
here.
pen and paper. You taking notes?
Huh?
You taking notes tonight?
I got to, Need some gems. You be dropping gems, Lamont. At least to
All right,
tell them
so
I drive it, right?
right, because you were on before. Reintroduce yourself to folks who are new to the show and let me know if you have a question or your views on the topic tonight.
So I'm Siobhan. I'm in New York. I'm 36, going to be 37 in 2 weeks. So
Everybody's birthday's
birthday's
coming
coming
up.
up. Yes, Taurus season. I actually just wanted to chime in on the conversation actually because I feel
You gotta move a
personally.
little bit more center to the.
Let me
We're
move
cutting your.
back.
Yeah, we're cutting your
Better,
face
right?
off. Yeah, much better.
Yeah, this iPad. No, I just wanted to jump on the conversation because I feel like to what Jay was saying and what you was actually sharing, I think conversation is key. And I think what we don't really see a lot is having conversations around sex and our sexual needs
Mm-hmm.
overall. Because I just don't think it's, I feel like sex is taboo, right? That's kind of how we're raised
Mm-hmm.
to believe, sex is taboo. We don't talk about it. We talk about everything but sex. And I just think it's important for us to be comfortable,
Mm-hmm.
and vulnerable to be able to share like what it is that we want in terms of like our sexual needs, whether
Mm-hmm.
it is monogamy, whether it is, to be in a polyamorous relationship, whether it's to even have an open relationship.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but you have to be, able to have those conversations. I would say from my own experience, um, the lack of having that conversation leads to cheating, right? Because if you
Mm-hmm.
take away your partner's, you know, the opportunity to even know whether or not I would be open,
Yeah.
um, we would not have to be in a situation where it is that cheating is involved, but to kind of like sneak behind someone's back and,
Mm-hmm.
go play the field, to me, that is just, again, a disrespect or a boundary that has been broken, where it is
Mm-hmm.
that you're not allowing your partner the opportunity to, say, hey, maybe, I am interested, or maybe I would like to explore, doing something with you. For me
Mm-hmm.
personally, like monogamy,
Mm-hmm.
but I also feel like, we all have our whole stage
Mm-hmm.
where, like trying out different things is fun because there's
Mm-hmm.
no strings attached. But at the same token, when I'm in a serious relationship, I know exactly what I want, but
Mm-hmm.
it doesn't necessarily mean things can't change because we're always evolving.
Let me ask you this question, Siobhan, because you brought up the whole phase that people go through, right? Right? You said it, it's your term, that's what you said. So do
Yeah.
you feel like someone who, like I say, they for the streets, like they got a new sexual partner every week, maybe two or three, like when I say lots of sexual partners, you might have friends that you know like that. Do
Hmm.
you feel like they can cut it off once they get in a relationship? Like for years, they're used to having multiple partners, and then they say, "Oh, I'm in love with this person." So now it's like a light switch that they turn off, and they're just with that person.
Well, change really has to start with the person themselves, right? So I would never want to say that a person can change if this is something that they seriously do want.
Mm-hmm.
Um, it all depends. Where did you meet this person? Like, like, were you part of the rendezvous, that, we met up, like hooking up and things of that nature. So I think that to say that a person can't change is not true. But
Mm-hmm.
if you know that this is your behavior and this is what you want to continue, again, it goes back to just having that conversation as to
Mm-hmm.
saying, I really like you. I want to commit with you, right? Because I mean, sex is just one aspect of a relationship.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Um, but how do you define love, right? Because some people, feel like, hey, one person can meet all of their needs, and
Mm-hmm.
one person can meet all of your needs, right? But like, what are those needs that you need satisfied from other people
Mm-hmm.
outside of your partner,
Yeah.
as it pertains to sex? So, To answer your question, I believe people could change.
Mm-hmm.
I think if that's the case, you need to have that conversation
Mm-hmm.
and be honest with yourself. And you also have to know what it is that you're getting into. If
Yeah.
it is that's a person, if that's their lifestyle, if that's what,
Mm-hmm.
how you met them.
Yeah. I think it's hella hard to change. That's my
It
response.
is. I
I think
agree.
I think if someone who is used to having that amount of sex with different types of people and not just one person, it is a very hard behavior to change. Is it possible? Hella hard.
Yeah.
So I think when in the dating phase, guys need to be honest about that. Like, hey, I'm used to having this amount of sex. I know you said you're into monogamy. Well, it's going to take me a minute to get there.
Yeah.
And I don't think people are open to having those conversations. So, like, if a guy said that to you, they're like, hey, Siobhan, I'm used to, I ain't outlived my whole phase. I'm still for the streets. I want to be with you. Can you give me time to be monogamous? Like, how would you respond if you're dating someone and he said that to you?
Give you time to be monogamous. I don't know if that's. I don't feel like we're aligned to begin with, right? Because
Mm.
the way I look at it, it's like I'm gonna use a lifeline and say like, I'm putting it out there like this is a possibility, right? This is my safeguard, and um, like how much time do you really need? Because
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
again, if you know that monogamy is something that I'm looking for, I'm coming in, I was upfront,
Mm-hmm.
and you're saying that that's not where you're at right now. I just think it's a mismatch, and
Mm-hmm.
I personally don't know if I could really give you the time to change or be in a
Mm-hmm.
relationship to wait for you to kind of get to that point if
Mm-hmm.
I'm not there.
Yeah, yeah. Good response, Siobhan. Good response. Because here's the thing: you don't want to get in the habit of getting into relationships with guys who you feel like you have to change.
Yeah.
Where you have to give them time to change. Like the expectation that they will change. That's like dating a guy's potential instead of the reality that is looking you did in the
The
face.
phase, yeah.
In
You
the
gotta be
face.
real. You gotta be real with yourself. You gotta be, like they say, you gotta, believe people for who they are and what they're telling
Yeah.
you. And again,
Yeah.
it doesn't mean people can't change, but
Yeah.
if you're not coming changed, you know,
Mm-mm. Mm-mm.
that's who you are,
Yeah, like
and
I'd be
you should
like,
be
bro,
yourself.
go free yourself, go free yourself. That like the thing about the beauty of open relationships is the freedom, right? The freedom of people being able to do what they want and communicating that back to their partner. You notice I said two things. This the freedom to do what they want sexually, but they communicate that back to their partner. If they are not communicating that to their partner, they are not they're not being transparent, and it is not healthy for the relationship. And at some point the relationship is going to suffer and deteriorate. Yeah.
Agreed.
Yeah. I think
Yeah.
people think that open relationships are just like a free for all. They're super fun and they work and it's like blah, blah, blah. No, there's still jealousy involved. There is still mistrust. And then some people don't communicate properly and promptly. So there's always challenges.
And there's
So,
still agreements in those relationships as well. Like, you know what I mean?
yes.
Like, and that's, I think some people just have that misconception that just because it's open doesn't mean that there's still
Mhm.
not boundaries within
Yeah.
an open
Yeah.
relationship. So,
Mhm. And those agreements may change.
and it would change, right? The same way
And they
your
may
agreements may
change
change
over
if you're in a
time.
monogamous relationship and you and your partner wants to explore going into an open relationship.
Right. So I think you hit on a great point is that sometimes monogamous relationships might change and people might want to explore and open it up. Like they might go on a vacation and they're like, oh, okay, we're at the hotel. There's this cute couple. Let's see. Or there's this cute person. Let's see. And then they're
Mm-hmm.
like, oh, that was horrible. I never want to do that again. Right.
Right.
But at least they talk about, like, hey, we explored something. We really should just be together and not try that again.
Mm-hmm.
And I think as long as there's always the space to have the conversation about sex, your desires, Those are healthy relationships where you can talk to your spouse about those things.
Yeah, because if you're not able to have those uncomfortable conversations to begin with, like, what are you talking about? You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Because
Yeah.
everything's not going to be about bells and whistles. So
Mm-hmm.
you have to be able to have those conversations that may not sit with you or may not always be aligned with you, and just explore it if you want to.
Yeah.
No
Yeah.
judgment
Yeah.
made.
Look, insightful conversation as always, Siobhan. Any other questions you might have or anything?
No, I don't
Or
have any
views?
questions, Lamar. I just wanted to join you because you looked lonely in the beginning.
Look, thanks for coming
But I
up and
saw
asking
Jay
those
came on,
questions.
so
All right, well, tell everybody your IG name just in case they're up in New York and they want to hit you up.
sure. Robo_cop21.
All
And
right.
that's
See you.
ROBO_COP21.
All right. See you later, Siobhan.
All right, later.
Good, good, good. Look at y'all. Y'all coming on here tonight. Y'all asking some questions. I want to shout out to Markeith, who is doing our production and producing the show in the background. I think he's doing an awesome job. If you ever need some coaching, some business branding, you definitely want to check out Markeith. Here is his website. It's his name. Listen, and I'm rocking a baldy like him as well tonight. Okay. Check him out. He will do you right, and he is worth the time and investment. Let's take a look in the chat box and see what questions you all might have. Let's see. I think I saw someone with a question earlier saying, "Hey, are we going to talk about ghosting?" Did we talk about ghosting before? I feel like we talked about ghosting in one of our previous episodes. You may have to go look at episode number 2 or episode number 3 to see our views on ghosting. Akeem says, in a long-term relationship, communication should be open, honest, and non-judgmental. The judgment is what gets people, right? Listen, that Akeem, listen, you are speaking. The judgment is what it is. Like if you're in a monogamous relationship and you can't verbalize to your husband, to your spouse, that you are attracted to someone or you think someone is fine or this person flirted with you or you flirted with that person, that means you might think your partner is going to judge you or shame you and make you feel bad because of just because you think, somebody is attractive. Who wants to be in a relationship like that? Monogamous relationships should be non-judgmental, they should be open, and they should be transparent. Because you should be talking about what turns you on, what your fears are, what your hopes are. You have to give your partner the ability to show up in your relationship. And if you are not honest, you're not transparent, you're not vulnerable, then your partner doesn't have the chance to show up and try to satisfy you. So then you go find someone else to do it, right? So, like, I would say give your partner the opportunity to please you, to satisfy you, so you don't have to go look for it somewhere else. Damien says, what about the deceptive communication where they tell you what you think you want to hear? Yeah. People tell you what they think you want to hear because they think you're going to judge them. The majority of the time, it's about you. I know you don't like that response. The majority of the time, it is about you because you have set an expectation or you have set the environment that your partner can't be honest and transparent with you. They think you're going to judge them, you're going to shame them, or you're going to, and here's the key about it, they think you're going to leave them. Your partner thinks you're going to leave them because of whatever they want to share with you or talk to you about, that you're going to say, oh no, I can't handle that. This relationship is over. Most people are not transparent and honest. It's because they don't want you to leave them. That makes sense, right? They lie to you. They're deceptive because they want to stay with you. So your job is to set the environment where your partner can be open and honest with you. Like you can handle disappointment. You can handle mistakes. You can handle things that might be taboo, and it is not the end of the relationship. If you can't set the stage for your partner to talk about those things, then they're going to be deceptive. I'm just saying. I'm just saying. You might not agree with it. He's like, whoo. You might not agree with it. But there are people who are just liars. There are, I will say that. However, it really has to do with you. If you set the stage that your partner can actually talk to you about things that they can't talk about with other people, that's the one that is going to stay with you, because they're going to share with you things that they feel are taboo, things that they feel like other people can't handle, and things that they have not told their other partners. Be different. I say be different. Say, hey, no, that's not going to make me break up. But I think you should have some things that you're like, hey, no, if you do this, I'm done. Like if you like, there are a couple of things I feel like some relationships definitely need to end. And it's like, when it comes to like physical violence that's repeated, like you should end that. Cut that off, right? Cut it off. Like if it's repeated, like abuse and all those things, cut it off. Other things, it's like, hey, let's talk about it. Okay. November says, I had to throw my church shoes across the room. I felt all of that. I'm just saying, some people show up on dates and you all expect your partners to be perfect. You expect them to be like robots. No, they're humans just like you. They have imperfections. They have secrets. They have things that they are working on. If they can't share it with you, why marry them? Why move in? Y'all should just kick it. Don't let that relationship, drag out. End it. Okay. I am just saying. Oh, somebody said, what if your partner is bisexual and wants kids? Have the conversation. You want your partner to say, hey, yeah, I'm in a relationship with you, but I'm also attracted to women and I want children. If he can't tell you that, then that means you have set the environment that he feels like he has to lie, or that you will end the relationship. You have to ask yourself again, what do you feel about sex? If your partner has sex with somebody else, how do you feel about yourself? And will that improve your relationship? And if all three of those are no, then you should stay in a monogamous relationship and you should let that bisexual guy go have sex with a woman and have children. However, if you have a different view on that, then you might, you might, be a good fit for some variation of an open relationship. Again, will a monogamous relationship work for you, or will an open relationship work for you? Check your views on what sex is. Is sex is priority or is high value? If you feel bad about yourself or your partner if they have sex with somebody else, or if it's not going to improve your relationship, don't try a monogamous relationship. I'm sorry, don't try a open relationship. Let me say that again, because I didn't butcher that all the way. If you're trying to figure out if a monogamous relationship or an open relationship is good for you, you got to ask yourself 3 questions. If sex is reserved for your husband or it is high value, don't try an open relationship. If you feel bad about yourself or wronged if your partner has sex with somebody else, don't try an open relationship. If you don't think opening up your relationship is going to improve your relationship, don't try an open relationship. Those are my views. All right, we are at time. I definitely want to make sure you all know that, I do individual dating coaching. I do matchmaking. So if you are single or if you're in a relationship anywhere in the United States, and I even work with guys who are overseas, you should definitely check out my website. I'll put it in the box. It's betterwaytomeet.com. If you really want to be priority, you should check out my VIP matchmaking service. And the VIP service is for guys who are like, hey, Lamont, I want a lot of attention. I want to go on about 4 or 5 dates. And you pick the guys for me based on my preferences, do dating coaching, go ahead and be VIP. Or if you're like, hey, Lamont, just send me on 1 or 2 dates, and you live in Atlanta, DC, or New York, go ahead and pick the base matchmaking package. I'll find you some great guys. I'll plan your dates. We'll do dating coaching sessions. With both of those packages, you and I stay in contact the entire time you're dating one of my guys. You're like, what? Yeah, because when you get in your first argument, you need to pick up the phone and call me so I can talk you off the ledge, right? Monday, one of the couples I matched 3 years ago, they told me that they are getting married. I literally start screaming. I'm like, oh my goodness. And that is because we have been in close communication over the 3 years. I know the milestones that they have achieved together, and we're like besties because I support anyone that goes through my matchmaking process as long as they're together. Also, if you want individual dating coaching sessions, you can go ahead and click on the dating coaching session option, and we can meet virtually. We work on your goals to make sure you achieve them. All right, check out betterwaytomeet.com, and I will see you all next Thursday so we can talk about if you are dateable. And if you have topics you want to discuss, DM me, and we'll see if we talk about them. Good night. Have a good one.